Good morning, everyone. Actually, good afternoon. Hi there. It is about 12:27. Today is January 23rd, and my name is Kimberly Trimmel. And first off, I'd like to take a couple minutes and welcome everybody. As you know, I've been doing different types of emails and things like that. Many of you have signed up for my email list. So, my first thing is to say thank you, of course. And for those of you who don't know me, as I mentioned, my name is Kimberly Trimmel. I teach, I speak, I train, I do coaching. And so, really, I just really enjoy adding value to the lives of others. So, as I give everybody a couple minutes, this is supposed to start at 12:30. We've got about 2 more minutes, so we're going to hold on for a minute. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. I'm so glad for you that are able to attend here today, virtually, clearly. I'm glad to have you in my life. And I'm glad for all the sunshine, right? Isn't it beautiful outside? If we think about it was like, gloomy, like the sun was like not coming out for a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. So, welcome everyone. My name is Kimberly Trimmel. Again, I'm really glad that you're here. I'm actually posting this both live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So, whether you get to see this live or not, it dawned on me that I hadn't done a Facebook Live in a period of time, in a significant period of time. So, what I wanted to do today, and we still got about 1 more minute, so I believe in starting on time and ending on time. We'll probably hang out for about 20 minutes today. If, of course, you can't stay on for the whole thing, don't worry about it. Jump in when you can. This is about strengthening your relationship with yourself as well as others. So, in about a minute, we're going to get started, give a few people time to jump on. Again, I know some people are occupied this morning, some people are working this morning, some people are just chilling out, you know? Why not? That's one of the things that we should do as far as self-care. So um, let's talk about self-care. Let's talk about the importance of taking care of yourself so that you can actually take care of others. So I'm so happy to have you all live with me right now, or I'm happy that you're able to view this at a later point. And this is a very special experience. Most of the time, what happens is we take care of other people, but we forget to take about care of ourselves. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by sharing a few thoughts with you that it's going to be about love. And you're going to like, what, love? Why are we going to talk about love? Well, I'd like to say I purposely thought that Valentine's Day is next month, but I didn't. Though I am aware of it, that is not what prompted this. Really, what I wanted to do is to let you know that humans have the ability to feel so many different emotions, so many different emotions. And the reality is every day you get an opportunity to choose what emotions you're going to feel or what emotions you're going to tune into. What happens is sometimes we get wrapped up in our everyday life that we forget to refocus and reframe on the positive. So when many of us think about love, we think about loving others. Sometimes we forget, what about loving ourselves? So when we think about this, how can we show love for ourselves? How can we show love for other people? Well, that's a great question. Encouraging open communication. One of the things I would say, if there was a glimmer, a bright spot in the last almost year that we've been through, I would say that my communication with others has gotten more, I don't want to say strategic, but more spot on. When I communicate with someone, I do my best to make sure that I'm delivering a clear and concise message in a way that they will receive it. I'll say that again, in a way that they'll receive it. If I communicate one way and they receive in a different way, we're not going to connect, right? The importance about communicating is that there's been a connection. So number one, I'd like to have you consider encouraging open communication with others. Communication is unquestionably important, but it's also very difficult, especially when things aren't going well, or when you're stressed, or when things are when you're in a committed relationship. Sometimes what happens is that we let our emotions lead versus trying to think, how is this other person going to respond to what I say? So, in reality, important conversations are crucial to growth, not only for you, but for the relationship you're in. Remember, don't bring up important conversations or serious conversations at an ill-timed time. So, for me, I have to be so careful not to jump right into a major conversation first thing in the morning. Why is that? Well, unless most people, they don't want to have a serious conversation by phone or otherwise, they don't want to have a serious conversation first thing in the morning. They want an opportunity to ease into their day. So don't bring up serious topics when your mate, when your partner, when your family member has just walked in from work. If they're having some stressful situations going on, be mindful of the fact and considerate of thinking about how is their day gone. Maybe even ask them, how was your day? And again, some people don't like questions, and depending upon how they are on that spectrum, that could cause someone to not feel comfortable. You could always say, boy, it's great to see you. I missed you. I missed you. Think about something as simple as saying, I missed you. Instead, what you want to do is let people know they're valued. Let people know that you're cared, that you care about them. Perhaps consider saying, not first thing in the morning or whenever their stress time is, perhaps instead consider asking after you get to a place of calm and you've reconnected. Because when we come in from work, or even if we're working remotely, the reality is sometimes we're just a bit maxed out. Our bandwidth is a little bit stretched. If you think about how it's been, since March 2020, it's been progressively stressful sometimes. Some days have been harder than others. But remember that when you do decide to talk with someone, it's not, especially about a significant issue, it's not just when it fits you, it's when it fits them. So be honest, come prepared. When you decide that you're going to speak with them, make sure you've created the atmosphere and the space to do that. Take a few minutes to list out the things that you'd like to speak with them about. This could be helpful because it'll keep you from being all over the place when you talk with them, especially when it's a hard conversation that you've been needing to have with a loved one. Perhaps consider not only knowing your part, and consider active listening. Now, how many people have heard of active listening? I would suppose if I could see you, I'd see some hands going up, right? What's active listening? Active listening is, instead of me thinking about what I'm going to say in response to what you're saying, I'm listening. I'm fully present for whatever it is that you're saying. Oftentimes, we listen to respond. So instead of listening to respond, perhaps consider active listening. Listen to what they're saying. Try not to hone in on the words, but try to focus on the emotions. Try to focus on the feelings. During active listening, you make a conscious effort to hear not only their words, but to hear their feelings. Non-active listeners might focus on the person's wording. They might choose to critique whatever it is that particular person is saying. Non-active listeners won't take into consideration body language or facial features. Someone could say, that really doesn't bother me, but their face may show otherwise. So that's why sometimes for difficult conversations, being able to see the other person, and that's been slightly difficult during this, experience we've had lately, but you could always do FaceTime. You could do Zoom. An active listener does the opposite of a non-active listener. They don't come to the table with a proactive response. They're not listening to come up with a response. They're listening with an understanding. Active listeners show that they're listening by not interrupting. Now, that is something I am still working on to this day, but nod. Perhaps if they're comfortable with you, mirroring back what they just said. So when you're strengthening your relationship with not only yourself, but others, you're working on connecting. If you base it on these examples, you might, when you're looking at this, where do you measure up on active listening? Change your routine. That hasn't probably been too hard because right now we are all in a different experience, but our daily routines are a vital indication of how we might communicate with folks. Are we taking the time to check in with our adult children or our children? How was your day? Boy, I really like the way that you did whatever it is that they did. When you consider this, say one nice thing to your loved ones every day. Now, this will be slightly different. Also, say one nice thing to yourself. Look at I am statements. Whenever you're thinking about, how maybe you've got a new project and you're like, oh, can I do this? And of course, we probably would never say that to anyone, but that's the voice, that's the resistance, that's the static. Sometimes what happens is when we're looking to do something new, we get pushback from our own selves. So instead, reflect on the last time you did something well, which hopefully wasn't very long ago. But if it was long ago, so be it. If you realize that you learned how to do something, I am resourceful. I am creative. I am more than enough. Say I am statements to remind yourself that you can totally do it. End your day with gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, at minimum, thank whatever you believe in, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, that you woke up that day. Some people didn't wake up. And because of that, you're still here. And since you're still here, there's probably a purpose, right? You have a purpose. So the term self-care, taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others, so that we can work on our relationships, is critical. Self-care is the practice of taking an active role in taking care of ourselves, whatever that looks like. Being more physically active, which can be challenging because the gyms have been closed, but they have started opening up. But you could work out at home. You could walk. You could cut toxic things out of your life. You could cut or try to mend toxic relationships in your life. You can take a break when you need it. There's an app, I love it. It's called Focus. I put it on and it helps me stay engaged in whatever it is that I'm doing. And then I focus and then I stop. Stopping is part of self-care. If you push yourself too hard, what's going to happen? I think it's good to excel. Nothing wrong with that. But if you push yourself too hard, sometimes you lose your vim, your vigor, kind of an old school phrase. But try to consider, am I slowing down for myself? Am I plugging myself in? If we think about our cell phones, what do we do at night? We plug them in. You've heard me say this before. Or we lay it on a charger. Why is this important? Because if we don't charge our phones, are they going to work? Or when we go to use them, will they be out of battery? Why would we be any different? So consider learning how to detach, how to unplug, how to turn the world off for a little bit. Take a break. It's okay. My dad used to always say, take a break, Kim, take a break. Not all the time, but after we had a very busy morning, he'd say, take a break, let's have lunch. So when we think about this, maybe consider eating a healthier diet. The healthier you eat, the more energy you have, the more focused that you'll become. And learn to say no. We only have so many hours in a day. If you're the type of person that says yes to everything, the reality is that you might find that you've said yes to everything is saying no to yourself. So learn how to say no. Move incrementally away from behaviors that don't serve you. Treat yourself to things that make you happy. It could be a number of things. You pick up a hobby. The other day, my daughter and I, we went to Joanne Fabric and we each bought some yarn. We're going to start crocheting. Find something that gives you joy, that's relaxing, that will add value to your life and perhaps add value to others. So when you think about this, what is your way of self-care? Remember, when you're speaking with someone, have eye contact. It shows respect. When my son was growing up, and my daughter, but yeah, I would tell them to always, when he greets somebody, make eye contact. It actually will help in the relationship. Reach out to your loved ones. Why is this important? Well, we've just come through a challenging, gray, dark time, and letting people know, hey, I care. How are you? Not wanting anything, just saying I'm here. What about knowing your love language? There was a great book called The 5 Love Languages. What is yours? Quality time, physical touch, gift giving, acts of service, or words of affirmation. Show your love to the other person. Show your appreciation to the other person in their language, not in yours. Celebrate each other. This will help with the connection in strengthening your relationship, not only with yourself, but with others. Why is this? Because it will allow you the opportunity to reconnect with people that are in your close circle. Fight productively. And I don't mean fighting like fist fight. I don't mean like boxing or anything. I mean, fight productively. If you're in a disagreement with someone that you love, focus on looking for what you do agree upon. Avoid name calling or belittling. Try to keep the argument or the discussion about whatever it is versus the person. Don't compare yourself. Find a healthy outlet. Give back to your community. Give back to others. And these are just some ways, some initial ways of strengthening your relationship with not only yourself, but ultimately with others. Your relationship with yourself depends on how you treat others. If you don't love yourself, how can you possibly love anybody else? Be kind to yourself. Take time for yourself. In these times, as we adjust to slowly moving back into what resembles life prior to March last year, 2020, give yourself the space to readjust. Give yourself the space to grow in this new experience. But you've made it through this 17 minutes of the 18 minutes of our time together. Congratulations. For those of you who've been following my emails, I appreciate you. For those of you who've been following my post, I thank you for that as well. It is my hope that what I've shared with you adds value to your life, and it helps not only your relationship with yourself, but the relationship with others. Thank you so much for being a part of this experience. I'm honored and blessed and privileged to have you in my life. Happy 2021. I really wish you the best, that you will create a more loving place for yourself and the people that you care for. Thank you once again. This is Kimberly Trimmel, and be well, stay well. Everybody have a great day. Thank you again.